I was like, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer's pretty fascinating. I think I would have loved to have met him.
Police found human remains in her house years ago.
Of all people, Jeffrey Dahmer. And I feel like this is like kind of been a thing for a while with the true crime thing, but like for Ariana to say that's who she wants to have dinner with, and it's supposed to—
Who's been the rudest celebrity you've ever met?
Ariana Grande.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah, I got.
Ariana Grande told a young fan her dream dinner date would be with Jeffrey Dahmer. So during a Q&A, Ariana was asked about young fans, and she recalled a time when she was on Sam and Cat when a younger group came up with their parents and asked her, if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be? And Ariana said Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, apparently she asked the mom and dad if she could give her real answer before saying that, and her reasoning is because she finds Jeffrey fascinating, and apparently she asked some questions for him. Now, according to Ariana, her answer very much upset the parents of the group, and the parents apparently had to tell their kids that they would explain everything later. Now, I just have to say, everyone's been real upset with Jack Wright recently for his dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer. Rightfully so, by the way. But I want to see if y'all give the same energy when it's one of y'all's favorites like Ariana doing it. Because even if it's true, I don't think y'all should be telling kids, hey, yeah, I would love to have dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, you can just make something up, like say Obama or something like that. Tell your friends Jeffrey Dahmer, but tell the kids anything but.
Of all people, Jeffrey Dahmer. And I feel like this is like kind of been a thing for a while with the true crime thing, but like for Ariana to say that's who she wants to have dinner with, and it's supposed to be a lighthearted question. I feel like that's why people are like, it's not that deep. It's not supposed to be that deep, okay? Because it's like a lighthearted, like icebreaker question. Who would you want to have dinner with, right? And usually people will be something maybe like their idol or whatever. I'd be like Paul McCartney, you know? But Jeffrey Dahmer, if I said what he did, I'd get taken down and this would be flagged, right? But I noticed this too with that other guy that's been trending on here. And someone made like a thirst edit, and he like literally unalived 2 women until one of them was like spaghetti, and he has swastikas all over his face, and the comments are thirsting after him. Something about the true crime thing, like there's something wrong in there, and the people are like, yeah, I know, I need therapy. Okay, well go there right now, because that is not normal. That is not normal.
The family of one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims is slamming Ariana Grande for once saying she'd be interested in doing dinner with Dahmer. Hey there, it's Charlie Neff from TMZ. So Ariana Grande was on the Pod Crush podcast recently, and she told a story about how in the past she was asked by a young fan during a Q&A who would she want to do dinner with, dead or alive. And here's a little bit of the clip so you can get an idea of what she said.
Years ago, before the Dahmer series, it was in a Q&A with fans, with young fans. It was young fans at the time. It was like, I think it was like in between like me being Cat and Pop stuff, so it was like a younger group. But it was with a parent. Someone said, if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be? And I was like, oh, you're so cute. Who, Mom and Dad, is it okay if I give the real answer? And they were like, sure, I guess. What's the answer? And I was like, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer's pretty fascinating. I think I would have loved to have met him. Wow. Like, you know, maybe with a third party or something else. But I have questions. I have a lot to, I don't know. I would love to. And the parents were like, we'll explain it later, sweetheart.
So I spoke to the mother and sister of Tony Hughes, who is one of the 17 victims that Jeffrey Dahmer killed. And the family said they watched the entire podcast interview with Ariana, and they were both hurt and bothered by the interview. They said they were also very disturbed when Ariana was seen laughing while talking about her fascination for Dahmer. They also said that just because Ariana has an interest for true crime, it doesn't give her a pass for her hurtful comments. And when I was speaking to Shirley, Tony's mom, on the phone, she started choking up, and she added, to me, it seems like she's sick in her mind. It's not fancy or funny to say you would have wanted to do dinner with him. It's also not something you should say to young people, which she says she did. Tony's sister Barbara also told me that she thinks that Ariana should apologize so that her fans know this is wrong. And she also added, unfortunately, until it happens to her and her family, she just doesn't know what we have been through. So what do you guys think? Should Ariana apologize, or did she do nothing wrong? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to follow.
Shut up. Okay? I've learned just to shut up. I don't have that. No, you don't have it. Shut up. Just stop. Okay? I don't care. Shut up. Just shut up.
This led to a whirlwind of rumors, even claiming that police found human remains in her house years ago. However, the rumored house from 2013 did not exist. Ariana should have been living in that house for some time. She and her mother, Joan, rented the mansion and left their mark on it. The recording studio she installed is still in the basement. Coppola owned the residence in the early 1980s, and Grande rented it in the early 2010s with a monthly rent of $17,900. The six-bedroom classic English Tudor-style estate has recently been renovated, featuring an impressive two-story entrance leading to a paneled sunroom, a new gourmet kitchen, a family activity room, and a formal dining room. It was the perfect temporary home for the then-rising star.
Not only is she going viral for saying that she wanted to have lunch or dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer, of course, with the third party being involved, someone to be there to make sure that she doesn't eat some other people. Her very own fandom, now don't come for me, Ariana, Ari Nader, or whatever she call her fandom, are basically saying that human remains were found in her home that she was trying to sell. Now, come on, I don't really believe that. This is going a bit too far, or is it? But then anyways, I think they were trying to get her tickets for her concert, and they didn't want it to be sold out. That's a bit much. They didn't want her tickets to be sold out, so they made up this whole rumor. And then months later, that's when she came out and said that she wanted to have lunch with Jeffrey Dahmer. How ironic that this would come out right before she mentioned that she wanted to have lunch with the famous, very infamous Jeffrey Dahmer. That's a little interesting, right? But even though we know that's not true, or at least it hasn't been proven that human remains were found in a house that she was trying to sell, it's still a bit weird and cringy and creepy that she wanted to have a lunch with a very known serial taken outer, Jeffrey Dahmer, who lots of people lost family members, and it was just a very touchy subject, and I was very shocked that she actually mentioned that. But honestly, nothing is shocking anymore when it comes to Hollywood. So yeah, her fans, kind of went a bit too far with that one. But then again, why would somebody just make up a lie like that? Or why would they just randomly just bring that up out of everything they could have made up to get her tickets? That's a little fishy.
Ariana Grande's brother, Frankie Grande, is shutting down a viral fake rumor that Ariana is a cannibal. Most people know that this viral rumor is just a joke among fans, but if you're not in on the lore, then you might mistake it for an actual real rumor. Ariana recently hinted that she wants to do a little mini tour soon. She says it would be a mini little sampling of shows, I think. Fans know that it's going to be hard to get tickets to this little mini tour, so as a joke, they're making up rumors like, oh my gosh, Ariana's so horrible, she's a cannibal, she's this, she's that. Like Buzzing Pop says in this tweet, they are just doing this to deter people from buying concert tickets so they can have a chance to get tickets themselves. It's even trending on TikTok that she's a cannibal and she's this horrible person. Frankie retweeted Buzzing Pop saying, ha ha ha, wow. This might be the most creative and lowest y'all have ever gone, reaching new depths daily. Listen, I know my sister's been eating the girls up for years, but this is a bit extreme. Besides, she's vegan. See you on tour. Again, I think this rumor was just started by fans who want to get concert tickets and not have to fight 100,000 other people trying to get tickets. I'm not sure if Frankie was taking this rumor seriously or knows that it's a joke, but let me know your thoughts.
No, but I was infatuated with serial killers when I was younger.
Were you?
Mm-hmm. My one thing aside is that years ago, before the Dahmer series, before it was in a Q&A with fans, with young fans. It was young fans at the time. It was like, I think it was like in between like me being Kat and Pop stuff. So it was like a younger group. But it was with a parent. Someone said, if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be? And I was like, oh, you're so cute. Who, Mom and Dad, is it okay if I give the real answer? And they were like, sure, I guess. What's the answer? And I was like, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer's pretty fascinating. I think I would have loved to have met him.
Wow.
Is it just me that find this a bit disturbing that Ariana Grande, who is basically at an interview saying that she is infatuated by serial unalivers? I mean, I get liking, crime shows and watching them all the time. Hell, my sisters, I cannot get them to stop watching crime shows. I mean, anything that they're doing, cleaning the house, cooking, whatever it is, you got some crime shows playing in the background. And at one point, I used to, really enjoy watching them as well. But I'm someone who is very mindful of the things that I consume, especially because the mind is very tricky and you can trick your mind into thinking whatever it is that you want, basically. And that's not really the reason why I stopped watching them. But for her to say that she was actually answering a question from a very young child who asked her a question about who she would like to have dinner with, and her answer to that young child who is very impressionable at a very young age, your brain is like a sponge, you are soaking up everything. And the thing she said was she wanted to have dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer or whoever that person was, and she find them to be infatuated, like she has this infatuation by these people. What do you mean? Sorry? Like, what exactly is the infatuation? Like, what goes through their brain? What they saw? How they felt during the unaliving? What exactly was happening in their head during the unaliving? Because there is, okay, you wonder what that person was thinking, what this disturbing person was thinking when they actually hurt someone else, another human being. And then there's being infatuated. I mean, there are people that I would say I really like, but I can never say I'm actually infatuated by them. Especially using that exact term, to me is a bit questionable. It's a bit disturbing that Ariana Grande, who plays basically a little Lolita, cute, sexy, I will take your man, I only wear ponytails, like I'm representing myself as a little girl, which to me, I do dress up sometimes, kind of sort of like that, but not to the extreme that she does. But for someone who is like that with a really, really soft voice, she cannot talk too loud. Even after she stole that girl's husband, she's using the soft baby girl voice. For you to say that you are infatuated with serial unalivers, and you are basically telling a child this at an interview, to me, is a bit questionable. It's disturbing. And the way she was even saying it at the interview, even till this day when she was talking about it, you can tell that she's still very, very much fascinated by those kind of people. And don't get me wrong, like who you like, watch what you watch, but sometimes it's just weird, coming from Ariana Grande. But then again, you cannot put anything past those celebrities, and you cannot expect anyone to be one way when they are another way. You don't know these people in person. You don't know their personality. You don't know what they do behind closed doors. They might try to present to you themselves one way, but behind closed doors, they're a different way. I know we speak about like witchcraft and all that stuff in this channel all the time. I believe a lot of celebrities do glamour magic to try to cover the eyes of the masses so they can look at them in the best light possible. I am a huge fan of Beyonce, but I do think Beyonce does put a glamour spell over all of her fans. So I said all that to say this. Ariana Grande, you're not fooling anybody. Girl, I know you're probably into some very sick, demonic, nasty stuff behind closed doors, but you cover all that up with the Lolita style of dressing and the high ponytail like a little girl, and you use the soft girl voice, and you try to convince all your fans that you are this perfect little angel, which your recent situation that happened with Mr. SpongeBob showed us that you're really not that. And I understand you could be whatever you want. You are an adult, you are a grown woman, I understand that. But when you are doing interviews with children, to me, I understand you were young, but even when you were in Victoria, You were not that young. You were playing as a young girl using the soft baby voice, which you still do, but you were not that young. So you knew exactly what you were doing and saying to these people. And that is the reason why I don't actually blame Ariana. I blame the parents who take their children to these things and also let your children watch these people, because all of them, not just black women like the Cardi B's and the Sexy Reds, those people, like Ariana is not very raunchy and all that stuff when it comes to like her music, but she ain't fully nobody. What do you mean you have an infatuation? You're obsessed, basically. You might as well say this. You're obsessed with serial unalivers. That's a little, it's just a little, all right, well, that's my opinion on this. I thought it was just weird. I just want to hear you guys' opinion on that. Maybe I'm just this weirdo who thinks everything is weird. Maybe. But then again, you got to question everything nowadays. People are a little weird. Okay, talk to y'all later.
Who's been the rudest celebrity you've ever met?
Ariana Grande.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah, I guess.
Have you ever talked about this?
No.
This is everything. Hello, how have you been hyped? This is Gigi Gorgeous on YouTube Red. It's everything.
I haven't really talked about it because I really like Ariana. I guess I just had a really crappy experience with her, but I went to her show here in LA, and that's when I met Kim Kardashian for the first time, who was so nice. And I posted a bunch of videos on my story from the night. The next morning I had woken up and she had DM'd me. I was like, oh my god, thank you for coming, and she was so sweet, and I was like, oh, I love you the most ever in the world. To this day, I don't really have hard feelings about it. I think she's so talented, but she had followed me and DM'd me, and I was like, oh my god, love you the most ever, like, thank you. And she was like, oh my god, wish I knew you were coming, like, I would have loved to have you backstage. And I was like, oh. This is right after like all my scandals started happening, so I was getting like a bunch of really, really angry tweets from her fans that were really mad that she had followed me. And literally 4 hours later, I started getting tweets like, wow, Ariana unfollowed James, like, the rat gets what he deserves, like, wow, love karma. And I was like, what the heck? So I checked, and she did actually unfollow me, like, literally 3 hours after she
Maybe you just tweeted to her.
Probably. But I messaged her back, and I was like, hey, like, did I do something wrong? And she literally was like, hey, babe, like, I just saw a lot of angry tweets from my fans, and I would never want to disappoint them, so I unfollowed. And I sent back like a very like strong word message to you, and I was like, you have 100 million fans. It's really disappointing that you would like stoop to the level of listening to people bullying me just to like appease them, but okay. I've always looked up to Ariana, and I think she's one of the most talented vocalists like of our generation, but it just really sucked that like I was literally getting bullied by her fans, and instead of like just ignoring it and like building a friendship, she literally like listened to them and unfollowed, which is just like saying that like, that's okay to do.
Yeah, she could have done nothing, ignored it, and just kept DMing you.
Yeah, like it wouldn't have been that deep. That was a disappointing interaction.
Wow, have you